congratulations on BB23, just being on there. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I'm feeling mega amped, insanely grateful for the entire experience. I went in the house and made some rock solid relationships, some really good friendships that I think will last long beyond the walls of the Big Brother house. So I can't complain about a second of my time there. That was, the greatest, but also longest, like 8 days of my life. And overall feeling really, really thankful and happy with how it all happened.
Awesome. You were one of the four people, the original four that came into the house. And when Frenchie won his HOH, he said you were all safe. Obviously, that wasn't the case. Were you blindsided at all? And where do you think things went wrong?
Yeah, so I wasn't really blindsided. I don't think I was the target to begin with at all to be backdoored. I think it started out as Brent, and then that kind of fell through when he just became like Frenchie's son pretty much. And then Christian winning his safety in the wild card comp and also winning Xavier's safety, taking the target away from them. So it was kind of a series of unfortunate events that I think led into the sites, getting scoped in more and more onto the last few remaining bucks in the field. And I was just one of the biggest. I had I guess the most points in my antlers there, and a great target to take out early on there. But yeah, so to answer in short, I did not expect to be the one going home, though it wasn't a complete blindside. I thought, as it got closer to it, it looked more and more likely that I was the only choice for Frenchie's game.
Yeah. So, some fans, are wondering about kind of the effort of trying to stay in the house. Tell us about the process. Like, why did you pitch who you pitched to? Why didn't you pitch to the other people, so that we have an understanding?
Yeah, absolutely. So I went to Frenchie first because I think he has ultimately the most sway in the house at this point. I think he kind of carries the most votes with him, and people abide by his objectives. That makes total sense. Being the first head of household, no one wants to get any extra blood on their hands or make bad by Frenchie and what he wants. So it's easy to kind of just have the entire house sway as one big vote together at this point. And I had Brent in that conversation where I kind of laid out my four main points. One, because he was there to actually corroborate and keep full transparency some of the points that I was bringing up. For example, where I exposed that Xavier pretty much blatantly told me he was obsessed with Alyssa, and that would be his girl in the house. To make sure I'm not just making that up, I was like, Brent, you can confirm all of this information, because he was there too when X said it, and he served that purpose. But Brent was also there because I think he's kind of a powerhouse and leader for his team. So when it came down to it, I had three votes that would be in my favor from my team. So Kai, Claire, and Tiffany, and then I needed 4 votes. I thought that those votes would come from Brent's team, and when it came down to it, just his position as what I perceived as being kind of the dominant one of his team. My perception was that if I convinced him, I had his team and his votes, and that they would all kind of follow suit with whatever he wanted. So that was the purpose. It just came down to them being the two most influential and kind of powerhouse positions for me to speak with.
Okay. How different was your strategy coming into the house versus what you thought it was going to be? Because, we as house guests tend to have something completely different in mind. How different was that for you?
Yeah, it was a total 180 that I had to pull. When I came into the house, I wanted to float around the perception that I was just this, kind of chump surfer dude that was just laying in the sand all day, not really doing much. And when I got there, that kind of torched me early on in the very first episode, when it looked, I kind of got picked dead last for the teams. It looked like I didn't have much value to provide with that perception on me. And so I ended up having to totally change it and, instill some value in myself by saying, I do have some experiences that would lead to people thinking I have my wits about me. I graduated early from a prestigious business school. I've authored a book. I work on some successful startups. So things like that, that would prove value, and hopefully people would want to utilize me in their teams was the idea behind that. And then I think that kind of went too far, in that people then started to see me as a threat. One, my demeanor, my confidence, kind of my athletic structure. And then also now they're understanding that I'm a hustler and a go-getter in my, professional life. it was always about trying to find that equilibrium, and I don't think it quite happened.
Yeah. So had you stayed, who would you really wanted to work with, and who would you say would have been your main targets?
I would have really wanted to work with Brent, Derek X, Kylan. I mean, really, those three guys were the core team. We kind of attempted to form really early on in day two, and that ended up kind of blowing up in our faces a little bit and not working out as well as I thought. But I would still be gunning for those relationships to develop into something more like an alliance over just personal connection that we were making. And I think we would have gone for Christian, one, to pull in at least a perception of loyalty from Frenchie, given that he was kind of the initial big target. I think Frenchie wanted to backdoor, and also to get out a competitor, a hell of a competitor, and a guy that looks like me but more handsome. I mean, there can only be one, right? So it's if it's not me, it's him.
Oh, yeah. So who in the house do you think is going or has the best chance in winning this thing?
I think Kylan does. The guy is in a really unique position, aside from being, what is proven to be what he's proven to be himself, a great competitor. He won the head of householdship. And aside from the incredible social skills I think he has and the relationships he's developed and he upkeeps actively with what seems like everyone in the house. The unique position he is in, I would say, is that if kind of the preschool antics come out and girls side with girls and the guys go with guys, I think he is the only one that would be kind of a bridging connection between both of those and have a really solid ear, at least, at the very least, for information between both.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your time, Travis. Yeah, good luck with everything. Are you going to be watching?
I am absolutely going to tune in. Yeah, I can't wait to get my phone and things back to check out, what everyone was saying and how it actually played out. But yeah, I really appreciate your time, Jessica. I'd love to hear, some of those questions answered from you at some point.
Oh, yeah. We could totally chat.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for your time.
Okay. Thank you.